3, 2, 1, go. Oh my God.
Nailed it. It's alive. That's good. That was step 2.
I got it, dude.
He knew he got it right away. Yes, that's Andrew McCarthy. He's taken Twitter by storm and he's taken the internet by storm with his unbelievable photography. He does like space photography. It's not just the sun. Sometimes he does nebulas. He does different celestial bodies. And this latest project that he did here, it took a lot of planning, obviously, but he had his bro jump out of a plane and took a picture of him right in front of the sun. How cool is that? Guess who I get to talk to right now? I'm so stoked for this. Mr. Andrew McCarthy, the space photographer. What's going on, Andrew? Man, a couple days out from this awesome shoot that you did. Here's what I want to know. How did you know that you got it right away? Because I imagine this final product picture that we see up there, it probably had to be edited a little bit to some degree. How are you looking at the sun and then you know right away that you got the shot?
Well, the camera's got a feed right into my laptop, so I'm able to see everything in real time. So I had to use that to tell the pilot that was flying my friend exactly how to align relative to these sunspots, because I really wanted to get the shot of the diver in front of the sunspots. So I was able to see in real time, and I knew right away that I got the shot because I was able to see the frames as they were being recorded. And yeah, there's always editing, there's always post-processing, but I can tell it's really clean data. There were no like haziness. The atmospheric seeing was good. So right away, I knew I had something special.
I remember, I've always been a fan of your account. I've followed like all your pictures for a really long time. And I remember it was a while ago, probably a couple years ago, you'd posted, it was a little bit of a longer thread where you were basically just talking about how, look, I got into this as just a total amateur. I didn't think it was going to be possible to get pictures this amazing, and slowly but surely I learned that it is actually possible for like the average person to do. Maybe not this. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can actually do some pretty cool stuff by yourself for, not completely breaking the bank, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can just do things. That's what I learned. Yeah, most of what I get secondhand for pretty cheap. Like this was the scope that I used in part for that shot. I used a couple scopes to capture it, but I mean, I found this secondhand for $1,000, which obviously seems like a lot, but it's a lot cheaper than what NASA's using. And a lot of people assume that you need some big like institutional budget to do these things, and you don't. I'm just a knucklehead that was working in software, and I ended up getting into this pretty much when I was living paycheck to paycheck, and it turned into this pretty cool thing that I'm able to do and share with the world. And honestly, anybody can do it if you have a relatively small budget and just the time and clear skies to spend outside.
It's absolutely unbelievable. Don't tempt me. I live in farm country in New Jersey. We don't have too much light pollution. Somehow still I wasn't able to see the aurora last week. Did you get to see the aurora at all? Do you do any of that photography, or is it only like celestial bodies and things like that?
Well, for aurora, generally you want to be more north than I am here in Arizona, but I did happen to catch it the other night. Very, very faintly, there was like this red glow on the horizon, so pretty rare to get it this far south. So, of course, I just sat in my backyard and took some simple pictures and shared them, but they were nothing special compared to what some other people were getting in the northern latitudes.
Yeah, they had some really good stuff, didn't they? So I feel like this kind of thing started to take off a little bit, no pun intended, a couple years ago, this idea of getting a silhouette of something in front of a celestial body. A lot of times it's with the sun, sometimes it's with the moon, sometimes it'll be like a plane, in front of Mercury, or I feel like I've seen that one before, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you the one that started this whole thing, or did you have somebody's work that you looked up to?
Oh, no. Astrophotographers and just photographers in general have been doing this for decades. So it's definitely nothing new. I try to look for things that haven't been done before. Like right now you're showing this rocket launch. It's a Falcon 9 rocket. I believe that might be the first one that shows the sun's chromosphere behind it, where I use a special type of solar telescope to capture it. But other launch photographers, they've been doing that for years. So it's really exciting to be able to look at what my peers are doing and try to just build on that, because they're such an inspiration to me and they do incredible work as well.
It's just so fun to see all these pictures. I mean, if you're any kind of science or space or any kind of nerd in general, I mean, you look at this kind of stuff and it is just, it's mind-blowing. And it really just catches the eye too. There's something about it, I know you can adjust colors and things like that, but at the end of the day, you're pointing a telescope up at a body and, something that's bright already to begin with, and you're getting a clean view of it. So one of the interesting things, being a meteorologist, like you kind of have to learn a little bit about the space. Like you're thrown into these situations where everybody at the station, let's say at like a local news station or something, and there's like a meteor shower, and they're like, hey, let's talk to the meteorologist. I'm like, no, I'm not a meteorologist, but I'll do the research, whatever. We have Wikipedia, we can figure it all out and pretend like we know what we're talking about. But we've had to like kind of learn a lot about things like the aurora and space. And when I see this picture in particular, to me that looks like some kind of explosion coming out of the sun, which, in a lot of cases leads to what we saw last week with the aurora. Chris, can you real quick throw up the main picture once again with the Skydiver there? So one thing I noticed about this particular picture is that it looks like just to the left of him, are those some sunspots there? Are those the ones that were responsible for the aurora?
That's absolutely right. So it's called an active region. And what happens is the very intense magnetic activity affects the convection that's happening on the sun, which allows parts of it to cool, and that creates sunspots. And that pent-up energy has to go somewhere, so sometimes it releases in the form of solar flares, which can cause material to violently eject away from the sun in what's known as a coronal mass ejection, or CME. And then that sends these highly charged particles to Earth. And if you get like a bullseye with it just right, you can get beautiful displays of aurora. The science of it is very hard to predict, and there's a lot of factors that affect it. So, and I am no expert on this, by the way, but really exciting to see what can happen sometimes when the sun's energy can start interacting with our atmosphere in such a level. It really creates a beautiful result.
I think that's something that a lot of us learned actually over the last week, because whenever the weather's quiet, all of my Twitter feeds that usually have all the the storm people that I'm looking for, all of a sudden everybody goes over to CMEs and all that kind of stuff, and I always look at it and I'm like, I'm not that interested. But over the last week, I think I caught the bug a little bit. It's really interesting stuff to get into. So, what was your day job before this? And do you have any, is this like your job now? Or do you have any, I see you with the NASA hat on, do you want to work in some kind of scientist capacity, or is this your thing?
Oh, this is my thing, man.
Yeah.
I just get to do basically whatever I want. I dream up some photos, go out, and I shoot them. And then people, if they want to hang my work on their wall, they can support me doing that way. And so far, I've been able to pay the bills ever since. I used to work at a desk selling software. I'm glad I don't do that anymore, because this is more fun.
Life is good. I want to know what some of your favorite pictures are that you've taken. Obviously, you're still on the recency bias high of this one a little bit. To be fair, it probably is one of the coolest that you've done. But let's go with a top 5 that you can come up with off the top of your head.
Let's see. I believe it was February. I shared a photo of the Andromeda galaxy that was super high resolution. I think it ended up being around 400 megapixels. Oh, there it is. You got it on the screen.
Hey, and
it blew my mind. I ended up buying a 6-foot wide print of it that hangs in my hallway, and absolutely love that one.
Wow.
And of course, it's always great anytime I capture something transiting the sun or the moon. There was a shot from a few years ago that ended up getting me nominated for an award, where I captured the International Space Station transiting Tycho crater on the moon. And
Wow.
what's special about that photo, not only does it look really cool, but it also got to float in the cupola in the International Space Station. And I have a photo of that photo floating in space. So that photo will always be special to me, because a part of me was able to go into space, even though I have not been yet.
Wow. Okay. So let's just go video by video that we have here instead of your top 5, because I'm realizing, if you're talking about one and we're showing and we don't have the video of it, it won't be great for the viewer. All right. Who's this? This is your cat, correct? Explain this one.
Oh yeah, that's Gregory. So I decided to do something a little different with my calendar this year, and I did a Gregory version because he's been popular on X. And Gregory has a calendar now, and that calendar was able to raise $10,000 for his local shelter where I adopted him.
Right.
So Gregory's a little bit famous, and he's helping other cats in need. And he's right next to me because he stole my chair.
That's a big boy.
So yeah, he's a big boy.
Oh, look at that.
He's mad
coat
I
on
interrupted his nap.
Great cat.
Yeah, he's
I
a
love
fluffy.
it. We love the cats here. We love it. Let's throw up the next one here, Chris. What else we got? We had Andromeda. Let's do the rocket. Explain this one. This is the sun, I assume, with the rocket going by. Hang tight. It's coming up here. There it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a solar transit of a rocket launch. I shot it with 2 different cameras, one using a simple white light filter that allows me to see the solar photosphere. That's why it looks somewhat featureless. It's just like a yellow disk in the sky. And that allows me to see the shock waves and the interesting interactions with the plume. But then I shot it with this telescope that I already kind of flashed on the screen here, which shoots in hydrogen alpha light, and that allowed me to reveal the chromosphere behind the rocket, with similar effects and interactions from the plume. And that was something really special because I'd never seen that done by any of my fellow launch chasers before. And it ended up making a really striking image. So definitely one of my favorites, probably in the top 5 as well.
You got any more, Chris? Was that the last one? I know there was one more at least, right? There's got to be something. Yeah. Let's talk about this one. What is this one?
That's actually the Andromeda shot that I was discussing earlier. So it's, oh yeah, you're just seeing it really close up right now because it's so high resolution. Yeah, I can actually see individual star clusters and the individual nebulae, even though it's 2.5 million light years away. And I was very proud to be able to capture that area around the core where there's kind of this swirling maelstrom. It's where everything kind of orbits that supermassive black hole in the middle, and it's home to hundreds of billions of stars.
That's absolutely
the entire
wild.
galaxy is home to 1 trillion of stars.
I mean, you look at a picture like this, and I always love watching these things before I go to bed, so my brain is just completely fried by how incredible it is. But you look at a picture like this, and a lot of people think you're just looking up at stars. Okay, that's a star, that's a star. It's still impressive how many stars there are, but a lot of those are actually galaxies, right? And within each of those individual galaxies, there's like hundreds of billions of stars, and it's just like, I mean, the whole thing is just so ridiculously mind-blowing. Am I correct in there? That's galaxies, right? At least some of them?
I mean, this entire thing right here is a galaxy, and if you look around the peripheral, you can see tiny distant galaxies as well. And then around this galaxy, there's 1 trillion stars, and around each of those stars is potentially up to a dozen planets.
Wow.
And so, you know, who knows? I called this piece "The Sky Looks Back" because you know there's somebody up there looking back at us, wondering about our own galaxy.
Andrew, this has been absolutely phenomenal. Sorry we had to run a little short on time here. I could talk to you all day. That's Andrew McCarthy. I call him the king of space photography. Thanks for the time tonight, man. I appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.